All right, what's up everybody? Welcome back. I know it's been a minute since I posted a Writing Your Legacy post, so I'm super excited about this. I know I say this about everything, but I've actually been waiting to post this particular post since years before I ever even opened the website. This is a big reason that I started DreamAwake, and I'll get more into that right now. But if you're new to my channel, welcome. And if you are not new, then welcome back. Thank you so much for supporting me. I can't tell you how much that means to me. Just growing through all this and starting out in the beginning and knowing who's really in my corner right when I'm just figuring everything out, trying to fail forward. That's what this article is all about. So if you clicked on this, and you probably saw what the name of this is, but it's called Fuck It Up, and it's called Mastering the Art of Failing Forward as well. That would be like the subtitle, I guess. And I got this idea from actually like a 1.5-minute YouTube video that I saw, I don't know, it must have been like 7-8 years ago, that had a woman named Sarah Blakely talking about her life and how she was raised. And in the article online that I post on the website, that's like the summary for this video, I say that it is linked at the bottom, and it is linked at the bottom, where she talks about how she grew up and just kind of her story and why I'm doing all of this. I have a video linked, but it's actually an interview with her and Tony Robbins that's maybe like 15 minutes long or so. And she ends up talking about more things in that video, which I thought was really special. But if we're getting technical, the first video that I saw was only like a 1.5-minute clip of her talking about, you know, how she was raised. And she's being, so let's just say, so she's being interviewed about how she was raised, how her childhood upbringing was different than most people, and how she thought that that contributed to her success. And I'll get more into who she is and how much success she has if you don't know who Sarah Blakely is in a minute. But she was raised by an entrepreneur. Her dad had been building businesses, I guess, when she was little, and asked her and her brother every week to talk about something that they failed at that week at dinner. And if they didn't have anything, he would actually be disappointed. So for example, it would be like, you know, she went out and tried out to play in the play for school and didn't make it, and that's a failure, right? And so she would talk about that. He would ask, you know, her and her brother, what did you fail at this week? She would say something like that, and afterwards he would high-five them. He'd be like, way to go, congratulations, you know, and praise them, right, for failing at things. She says she didn't realize it then, but when she was little, him doing that, he was reprogramming her mindset, reprogramming her paradigms on failure. It's way more common for people to be afraid of trying something because they're afraid of failure. Talking about me, I talk about this in the article. Obviously, some of y'all know already that I'm an artist, and I've been an artist since I was really little, and I'm definitely a perfectionist. I feel like that, I don't know if that comes from being an artist or if I'm an artist because I'm a perfectionist. Chicken and the egg, who knows? But I like art a lot, partly because I have control, because I decide what I'm painting. I decide what the scene is. I decide what the colors are. It doesn't have to be based in reality. I can choose, you know, what the meaning is, and I can decide when it's done. And if I feel like it's not done yet, then I can keep working on it until I feel like it's perfect. If I feel like it's not perfect and I don't like it at all, then I can throw it out altogether. Life is not like that. And I understand why people are afraid of failure. I feel like I've been afraid of failure kind of my whole life, and that's another reason that I love the control that painting gives me. Because, again, all those reasons, I decide everything, and I'm in control of everything. And life, again, not like that at all. And I've had, you know, just like everybody else, crazy shit happen in my life and, you know, throw me off course or test me or make me grow out of nowhere when I wasn't really expecting to have to change. And, you know, it can really throw us for a loop. Again, some of y'all that have been keeping up with me know about my mom. I interviewed her for my first interview because she has a really great story. And, you know, she raised me as a single mom until I was 14. Then she got remarried, had my brother and sister, but she is an entrepreneur. She went to school for electrical engineering. She was in the Air Force. She's definitely Wonder Woman. She's extremely intelligent, but not only that, she's gorgeous. So you can only imagine being raised by somebody like that is, you know, I never wanted to accept anything but flawlessness, is what I write in the article. And, you know, it's still a daily struggle. I feel like for the last few years, I've had a different mindset just because I watched this video with Sarah Blakely talking about, you know, this ritual that her and her dad and the rest of her family would do every week. And that kind of retrained my mind into thinking of failure as something else and not necessarily like an outcome, not necessarily the result of you trying. Is the real failure is not trying at all. And that's what she talks about in the video. She said that as the years progressed and she kept doing this, you know, ritual with her family, is she would be disappointed in herself if she didn't have anything that she failed at that week. And her brother would find themselves, you know, talking to their crush or trying out for volleyball or whatever it is, just so that they could come home and say that they failed at something. It became more that the real failure was not trying, as opposed to trying and it not working out and that being a failure, right? She sees things differently. Again, if y'all know who she is, then you know. She is the inventor of Spanx. All my ladies, we all know what Spanx is. It's definitely a feminine company. If you're a guy, you can figure it out. It doesn't matter. But you probably heard of Spanx also. But Sarah Blakely invented Spanx with $5,000 that she had saved. Cold calling people, trying to get them to pick up her line. Got denied a lot, got hung up on a lot. Now Spanx is a $500 million a year grossing company, and she was the first female billionaire in the world. So I think that this ritual definitely had something to do with her success. That's what she says in the video, at least. She talks about a whole lot of other things. So if y'all go to the printed article or the posted article online of this post, then y'all will be able to see or hear, I guess, more of what she talks about. And then of course she's with Tony Robbins, so they both start, you know, feeding off of each other, going on different tangents, talking about some really important things. But we'll get more into this in the article. This is just like where I wanted to start. Hearing this video, watching this video a few years ago, like really changed my life. And I feel like if I never saw this video, that I never would have even tried to start DreamAwake. I would have been too afraid of failing. I would have been so scared that everything isn't going to work out exactly how I want it to. And that video changed my paradigm. It became more of, I don't want to lie on my deathbed and regret not trying. I would rather me try this and it not work out and me completely fail than me to not try at all. I don't want to spend the rest of my life wondering what if, you know? And that's kind of what she talks about in the video. So if we get into some steps into how to master the art of failing forward, there's a really great book called Failing Forward. I super highly suggest that. I have not linked that on my Mind Enhancements tab, which is the reading list, some of y'all know. I will go ahead and link that in the next day or so, and hopefully y'all will be able to find that through my website. If not, it's really easy to find. Just look at, I don't know, any bookstore or Amazon or Kindle or whatever. Failing Forward is a really amazing book. Again, another one is Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. I feel like those kind of go hand in hand, those books. There's some other ones, but we'll stop there for now. Getting into the steps, the first one I say is indulge. I like to consider myself spiritual. You know, it doesn't matter what you are, if you're anything, if you're very devout religious in some area, or if you're very devout not in all the areas, it doesn't matter. The fact is nowadays people are very into the whole positivity thing, the whole energy thing, vibration thing, manifestation thing, woke thing. I wrote in the article that being woke is a label that's carelessly stamped on many people around society when it's not common. It's not common at all. I feel like a lot of people are labeled woke and they do not deserve that word. I don't want to put them down or anything like that. I just know that toxic positivity is a real thing in the world. And if y'all have never heard of this, it's essentially where someone, dare I say, awoke someone, is talking about how you can't dwell on the negative, how you have to avoid it at all costs. how you can only think good thoughts and you can only be positive and you can never accept anything negative. And if anything bad shows up, then just ignore it and pretend like everything's good. That doesn't work. Sorry. I hope that I didn't like just kill Santa for you, but like if you pretend like something's not there, it's just gonna stay there forever. I said pretending it doesn't exist only ensures its immortality in the article, and I stand by that. You know, energy are thoughts, emotion, feelings, emotion, right? Or emotion is energy and motion. That's what I was trying to say. But you can't pretend like something's not there if it is. For example, if you're afraid of failing, if you're afraid of starting something for yourself, if you're afraid of chasing your dreams or changing your life, you can't pretend that you're not. You can't wake up every day and pretend like that there isn't this fear itching at the back of your brain. You have to address it. And that's why step number 1 is called indulge. It's not indulge in, I don't know, vices. I don't know what people might think that that is, but it's indulge in your greatest fear. You know, whenever your brain is constantly like, don't think about this, don't think about this, don't think about that, don't be negative, don't do that, then that's all you're being. If I tell you to think of if I tell you to not think of a purple spotted elephant, what was the first thing that you picture in your head? A purple spotted elephant. It's because you're putting so much attention on what you shouldn't be thinking about, that's all you think about. If you're like, you know, I wake up every day and I have to be positive and it's going to be a great day, like that's all great and well and good. But if you don't truly feel that way and you're trying to convince yourself that you do, it's never going to work. Eventually it might, you know, but it's because you're addressing the negativity. If you're constantly saying you're positive, it's going to make your brain try to figure out why it doesn't feel positive. You can't not give attention to these feelings inside of you. If you push something down so deep into your psyche, into your subconscious, pretending like it's not there, pretending like you're not scared, like you don't want to fail, like you don't care what other people think, and you pretend that it's not there, and you pretend that it's not there, and you can convince yourself so well that it literally never shows up in your conscious mind, that it only shows up in your subconscious. I guarantee you it's still in your subconscious, and you're now training your subconscious to forget about certain parts of yourself, to silence certain parts of yourself, and to believe that certain parts of yourself don't matter, because that is part of you and you're not giving it attention. So number 1 again is indulge in your fear. Give it attention. Think about the forbidden thought, and then once you give it attention, it doesn't hold so much power over you. You're not constantly feeling this inkling in the back of your head like, well, what if it goes wrong? What if I fail? What will people think of me? How is it going to work out? What if it doesn't work out? What if I make a fool of myself? All those things that you're constantly like, shut up, don't think that. Like, be quiet. Like, don't show up in my brain. That's not going to happen anymore because you've already thought about that. It's not this like flashing sign in the back of your brain waiting to get paid attention to. It's now something that you've given attention to. So when you finally do indulge in your fears, this is where step 2 comes in. Step 2 is revel in it. When I say revel in it, I mean sit in that energy and feel it all the way through. Imagine in your head what would happen if everything went wrong. I could use myself as an example because this is great. I haven't had any luck selling any of my auction paintings since I started this website. What's crazy to me is I'm almost 30 years old. I've been selling art since I was like 11, and I have never in my life had one issue selling anything that I've created ever. I've had people fight over stuff that I've been selling, but I've never had nobody try to get it at all. So it's crazy. And then these prices that I posted the auction at, you know, are lower than how I would normally price my work. So, you know, I would consider that, you know, a failure on normal people's standards, right? But in Sarah Blakely's point of view, it's not a real failure. I tried at least. And, you know, of course, it's still going to be up for the rest of the month, so it's not like it's the end or whatever. I can still fix this later. And that's a big point about failure that we'll get into in a minute. But as far as this step, number 2 is revel in it. Now, imagine what would happen if you failed. Like for me, what would happen if nobody buys these paintings? And I've literally had to sit here and think about the fact, like, what if nobody buys them? Like, I'm just gonna have to eat that. I'm just gonna have to deal with it. And now it's no longer, like, you can see the smile on my face, like, whatever. And y'all know, if you've been keeping up with me, I've been dealing with all kinds of bullshit since I started the website. People trying to scam me, like Mercury retrograde, just things not posting for no reason. I've literally tried to post these videos 3 times this week. One of them got deleted. One of them wasn't posting. One of them, the format for some reason got saved wrong. It's just been a whole thing. And I feel like it must be something in my brain. I feel like, you know, manifestation is real. Law of attraction is real. Energy is real. Vibrations are real. And this is something I talk about so often in all of my videos, on everything on DreamAwake. It's one of the biggest things I want to focus on. And if all of these things are happening, I feel like it's because I'm suppressing something in my brain about being afraid. What if I can't handle it? What if everything goes wrong and I don't know how to fix it? And I've never done this before and I don't know what I'm doing yet. And right, these are all my thoughts. And it depends on who you are and what you're thinking about doing and what you're dreaming of and how you want to live your life, that these different fears will show up. I mean, it could be about love. Like you could meet somebody and be totally in love and never speak a word to them because of what you've been through in the past and you're terrified. I can totally relate to that. Oh my God. I'm like, you know, at this point, God, if I meet anybody, I'm like, no, I'm scared. I'd rather just be alone. and that's not healthy, right? What if you meet the love of your life and you turn them down because all you've had before are, you know, the wrong people? And it happens to the best of us. We all deal with whatever we got to deal with. And that could be as far as business, as far as family, as far as living where you want to live, working where you want to work, traveling, anything, really. But, sorry, I digress. God, I get on the worst tangents. But if you want to live this out, think about all the steps. Now, for me, like I said, it could be that I never sell one of these paintings. And I did this. I really had to like sit here and I'm like, well, what would happen? You know, if I didn't sell any of these paintings, what would I do? And I'm like, well, my life wouldn't really be that different. I haven't sold any paintings yet. So it's just going to be the same as it is now. So that's fine. I'm just going to, you know, have my pride hurt really bad because I have been selling art for more than half my life, never had an issue. And now it's going to start now that I'm doing it online. I don't know. So, you know, these things come up. And so you start feeling these feelings. Like for me, it hurt my pride. And I'm like, really? Nobody wants to buy the art that like I'm creating? Of course, I'm such a perfectionist that I'm like, it could always be better. All these paintings that I've already posted, you know, I've gotten great feedback, but also I'm like, yeah, but I want to fix this and like do this and I should have done it like this and this is too big and that's too small and whatever it is, you know, but you just got to do it. This is one thing. I was reading, I don't know, a course or quote or something, whatever I read, who knows. And I read on many occasions in many different avenues that, you know, done is better than perfect. So that's where we're at with my paintings right now. So the point of reveling in it, you know, the point of really feeling out all of these negative emotions. And some of y'all might be watching this and you're like, well, DreamAwake is supposed to be all about law of attraction and manifestation and positivity and affirmations and visualizations and vision boards and, you know, creating the life that you design with your mind, right? That's what all this is about, essentially. But I keep having to go back to, if you are hiding something in your psyche, if you're avoiding something in your heart, in your mind, in your brain, in your soul, whatever you want to say, and you won't address it, it's always going to be there. It's never going to not be there. So if you feel it out and you really, really revel in it, like I'm talking like how we talk about doing visualizations. Look at any of my past videos. We might talk about it a little bit in this one, but when you want to manifest something, you sit in your brain and you imagine already having it, okay? Like it already happened. Like the gratitude, the feeling of completion, I did it, right? I got it. We made it, right? All that. That is maybe the key ingredient to manifestation. Gratitude is what I always say. But as far as reveling in it, as far as failure, revel in that. And some of you might be asking, you know, isn't that counterintuitive? Why would you want to meditate on something negative? Why would you want to focus and visualize and affirm something that you don't want to happen? The thing is, your brain, your subconscious, if you're hiding it, is already doing that in your subconscious all the time, every day. Every time you think about whatever this goal is, that horror story plays through in your subconscious, and your conscious mind is like, shh, nope, we're not thinking that. Nope, it's not happening. But your subconscious is literally playing it on repeat. So you might as well just sit in your conscious mind and let that come out from your subconscious. Think about all these negative things that could happen, how bad it could be, the worst thing that could happen, the horrible feelings that you're gonna feel. Like for me, my pride getting hurt, that this is the first time I've ever like not been able to sell a painting in my life, like what? You know, and just deal with it. Feel it all the way through so that your brain can understand that you're not in immediate danger. This is where all of our anxiety comes from. Stress and anxiety all stems from the fight or flight response. It's our brains trying to stop us from feeling something that was bad or negative or undesirable or that we think compromises our safety. And the thing is, in 2021, it's not usually, well, I mean, depending on what we're talking about, but as far as chasing your dreams, it's not usually against your safety. It's just your brain's automatic mechanism of fight or flight, thinking, I don't want to think about that, I'm going to avoid it because I don't want that to happen. So if you think in your brain, you know, this horrible thing happened, it hurt my pride, everybody thinks I'm ridiculous, I feel embarrassed, I feel ridiculous, I feel like I failed, you know, all these horrible things, whatever it is. You sit there, you think about it, you feel it all the way through. It's been scientifically proven that your brain cannot distinguish between a real or an imagined event. So if you live this in your head already, then your brain thinks you already lived it in real life. Now you no longer have that fight or flight response, because if you lived it all the way through, you feel all of those emotions, I challenge you to keep living out that life in your head. Keep imagining what you would do next. What's the next step? Well, I didn't sell any paintings. Okay, so paint another painting, run an ad, promote these time-lapse videos, you know, whatever it is, talk about, you know, all these different ways that you could fix it. And then once you think in your head all the different ways that you can fix it or overcome this failure, or you can move on from this failure, you realize, or you teach your brain that it's not a life or death situation, that you're not, you know, in dire need of help just because you're trying to chase your dreams. You teach your brain that you're not in immediate danger, that nothing bad is going to happen if you chase your dreams. And not only that, your brain has already lived through the failure. Your brain's not afraid of it anymore because you've thought about it. And then once you live out these scenarios in your brain, once you give all of your fears all of this attention, then they're not flashing neon signs in the back of your subconscious. You're not sweeping a part of yourself under the rug anymore. You've now given that part of yourself attention. And once that part gets attention, then it's no longer flashing in the back of your brain. Then you're able to start visualizing for real what you actually want. Now that you already know that you can handle any failure that comes towards you, that you can handle it whenever the shit hits the fan, that you're not going to be afraid whenever anything bad happens, because you've technically already lived it in your head. You've already understood what it's going to take to move on from that experience. It might take a lot of time. It may not be the most fun, but you know that you'll survive, and you know that you'll be able to deal with it, and you know that your life is going to keep going. Once your brain understands that, these fears, they'll lose all of their power. And then you're going to be able to really manifest the things that you actually want. After this, after you revel in your failures, I definitely would love for you to revel in your wins. Now that you're no longer afraid, now that you've given this piece of your subconscious, you know, the attention that it wants, then you can start to manifest the things that you actually want. You can start to think about the things that you want to actually happen that you actually want to happen in your life. So whenever you imagine that, live that out just as much, if not more. Really, like I said, feel gratitude for it. Feel already having it. It already happened. You already got it. You're thankful that it already happened. You're thankful that you already got it. How amazing life is that all of these things have happened, right? Sit in that vibration. Sit in that version of yourself. Sit in that version of your future and really own that vibration. Completely feel it out all the way through your body, through your heart, through your head. And whenever you live that out, and you no longer have fears in the back of your head that are telling you that none of that's possible, because that would mean that you have to jump over a hurdle that you don't think you can jump over, then you might be able to manifest the things that you want. I hope y'all got that. I'm like, I don't even know what I just said. Sometimes things just come out and I don't even know how to say it out again. I hope y'all got that. So the next one is number 3, and this one is where we say, fuck it up. And, you know, I'm done being worried about if people are offended by my F-bombs, because I feel like, you know, it's some good information. Why are you going to be afraid of the word? Anyways, so number 3 is fuck it up. This is where it goes down to just do it. Now, do the thing you're afraid of. Try, you know, embrace failure. Don't be afraid to try anything, because you're open to receiving failures. Congratulate yourself whenever you fail, like Sarah Blakely and her dad did at dinner every week. Tell yourself, good job for trying. Think about failure and think about that as a goal instead of something to avoid. Be like, you know, if I fuck shit up, then good, I'm doing something right. You know, I'm not telling you to like go chase your dreams and purposefully sabotage yourself. I'm just saying, like, go chase your dreams, and if something doesn't work out, then awesome. It's a great story that you can tell. Sarah Blakely got denied. Spanx. If y'all are a girl and you know what Spanx are, then you know that nobody should have ever denied Spanx any store. All of us girls are obsessed. Doesn't matter what you look like, we all want them. Now, can you imagine Sarah Blakely with her $5,000 that she saved, starting this company, going to companies like Neiman Marcus and Bergdorf Goodman's and all these places, and being like, hey, you know, will you take my ladies' underwear that I've never, you know, tested anywhere, and like, I hope you guys like, whatever. Yeah, she's a great saleswoman, but she got denied a lot. She got denied a lot. She did not have the experience before. She didn't know what she was doing. Like, she didn't have the credentials, but it ended up working out. And those few times, you know, that she, or many times even, that she got denied and she got shot down, the difference between her and somebody else who could have tried, you know, 99 times is 100 failures for her are nothing. So she tried at 100, and at 101 she got it, you know. Hope that makes sense. So number 4 is build back stronger, and this is a big one. I'm in love with Japanese culture. I always have been. I have a few Japanese tattoos on me. I'm sure I'll have more, but there is a Japanese idea, philosophy, way of life, design aesthetic that people like to talk about, called wabi-sabi, if y'all have ever heard of it. There's also another Japanese tradition where they put back together broken pottery with gold. And I don't know if you've ever seen these before. There's a picture of one on my website, or if you're getting here through all the social medias, then you'll see this tile that I made that says build back stronger, with the actual bowl with like gold like cracks. And it's because it was a broken bowl that got filled again with the gold and put back together. And this tradition is called kintsugi in Japanese, and it literally means gold joined together by gold. And it's essentially the idea that all of our beauty, or there's so much beauty, I guess, to be held in being broken and being put back together. For example, we are more beautiful whenever we fail at something and put ourselves back together. Things are more beautiful when they break and are mended, and that's where the beauty is. They say that life is lived in the brokenness. You know, there's a really great quote from Ernest Hemingway that says, maybe the cracks are how the light gets in, or the broken cracks are how the light gets in, something like that. I'm sure y'all have heard this before. It's very famous, but it's all the same idea. You know, we don't become better by not trying anything, by not pushing our boundaries, or by not escaping our comfort zone. Whenever we do that and we escape our box and we push our boundaries and we leave our comfort zone and we fail and we come back better and we learn, that's where all of our strength comes from. Nobody is born into this world being exactly who they're going to be, or nobody is born as a child and they're everything that they're meant to be in this life. No. Life puts you through the ringer and then you become who you're meant to be. You get put through the spiritual meat grinder, as I like to say, so that you can learn that you can handle it. That's where this whole indulge in your fear, revel in it thing comes from, is it's teaching your brain that you can handle so much more than you think you can, that you can learn from so much more that you think you can, that you can grow from so much more that you think you can, that you can handle any fear, that you can handle any failure, that you can overcome every failure, that nothing that happens in this life you can't handle, you know? Many people say this, but God would never have given you this test if you didn't have what you need to pass it. And you don't need to believe in God to believe in that, but you do need to believe in something in order to succeed. I definitely believe that. Something. It doesn't have to be something particular, but yeah, you definitely need to believe in yourself. That's a big one. You never know what doors or windows are going to open through each of these failures. That's another big one. I don't really talk about this in the article, but through all of these failures, you could meet someone. Say you try out for something and you don't make it, but you meet your best friend. That's what happened to Sarah Blakely. She talks about it in her video. What if you try to start a business and it completely fails and you go bankrupt, but then your banker who helped you sign the certificate saying you're going bankrupt wants to back you for a new business, and then that ends up working out? You know, you never know what's going to happen. A lot of people get so caught up in what's happening right now or what's about to happen, and the thing is that's not the whole story. You know, I have no idea what my story is going to be in a year, in 5 years, in 10 years. Oh my God, like, I have goals and I have things that I want to happen, and I have, you know, actionable things that I do daily so that I can get there to these places that I hope my life will go. But I have no idea what my life is going to be like. I have no idea what kind of failures I'm going to encounter, how many heartbreaks I'm going to have, how many hurdles I'm going to have to hurdle. But it's fine. I know that I'm going to survive. And if I don't survive, then it was my time. That's just what I believe, you know? And you can't dwell on all the negative forever. And I think the reason that I don't dwell on negatives is because I've lived a lot of shitty experiences and realized that I've survived them all. I've also done this thing in my head where I'm like, you know, what if my worst fears come true? And I gave that attention, and I sat there and thought about it, and I was like, well, then I'll deal with it. Like, what else can you do? You know, sitting here worrying about it all the time is not going to help. I've talked about this in many of my other videos, but Newt Scamander from Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, J.K. Rowling, he says, my philosophy about worrying is that you suffer twice. It's really just praying for what you don't want. It's manifesting what you don't want to happen in your life. You constantly thinking about it. I don't want that to get confused with the whole indulgence and the reveling in it. I say do that and give it attention if you're pretending like it's not there. If you're pretending like life is all ice cream and sunshine and rainbows, and you on the inside feel like there's a shitstorm going on that you don't know how to handle, then handle it. Sit in your brain and figure out how you're going to deal with it. It might take time. It might take multiple tries, much effort, but it'll be worth it. So the last step, super easy, very down to the point, is lather, rinse, repeat. So basically that just means you're going to go through all this. You're going to fail, and you're going to congratulate your failures, right? You're going to indulge in your greatest fears, stop pretending like they're not there, address them. Teach your brain that you can handle it. Teach your brain that it's not the end of the world. Your safety is not endangered. You have nothing to worry about, that you are a powerful being and you can handle it. And it's nothing to be afraid of. It might cause you to grow. It might cause you to change. It might cause you to learn. But that's all failures are, is learning. It's the same thing. If you're not winning, you're learning. It's one of my favorite quotes. And if you indulge in your greatest fears and you revel in that feeling and you realize that you can survive, And then after that, you revel in what you really want. You sit and you feel and you think about all these things that you want to accomplish in your life, that you dream of. And then you go out and you try. And you try and you embrace failure. And you don't worry about outcomes. And you don't worry about if everything works out exactly as you hoped, because you've also worried about if it works out exactly as you don't hope. You've also thought about the scenarios when everything goes wrong. And since you've already thought about it and you've already lived it, it's not scary. And if it does happen, then you can handle it. You know what you're going to do next. You know how things are going to work out. And who knows, you might meet somebody who's going to change your life forever. You might meet your next investor or the love of your life, or somebody who wants you to take over their lease in another part of the country or another part of the world, in a place that you've always wanted to go visit, right? You never know what's going to happen, but life rewards you for trying and for going outside of your comfort zone. So I challenge you to go out and try to fuck some shit up, you know? Do what you're afraid of. Don't shy away from it anymore. Don't be toxic positive, and don't convince yourself that everything is peaches and ice cream whenever it's, you know, a scary haunted house. Teach yourself that you know who works at the haunted house and you know how all this works out. You're gonna go through the cycle of confronting your fears and giving your demons the attention that they've always been craving, and you're gonna realize that you can handle these fears. And after that, you're gonna live them out in your head, and your brain, your body, your soul, whatever, is not gonna remember the difference between real life and what you've lived in your head already. So that whenever you go to number 3 and you go to fuck shit up, then you're not afraid, because any outcome you've prepared yourself for. So you can go out and you can fuck shit up and you can mess up and fail, and it's not gonna be the end of the world. And after that, number 4, you're gonna build back stronger. And when you build back stronger, you realize that something good comes out of every single time that you try. Some nugget you get to take from every single effort that you made, even if things didn't work out exactly how you hoped or imagined. But every single time you will learn something. And, you know, over this process, you might learn that you want to do things differently, that there's a new method, a new way of going about your dreams that works better, that wouldn't fail the same way that it failed before. Every failure that you are confronted with, now you can handle because you've handled it before. And so every time you go through this cycle, you go through all your failures, but you're not failing at the same things anymore. You're failing at new things. And then you learn those new things and you learn how to handle those new things. Sure, over this whole process, you might have more fears that come up, more things that you're worried about, more, you know, possible outcomes that are not necessarily desirable. And if that's the case, then go back to number 1, number 2, you know, go indulge in that. Feel it out, revel in it. Know that that's not gonna kill you. Know that it is only gonna make you stronger. But yeah, that's a cliche because it's real. I've said that in so many of my videos. There's so many cliches out there because they're human truths. And this is just another one. And so after you come and you build back stronger, then you'd be surprised, you know, how you've honed your skills or become a completely different person over this cycle, because you've now confronted everything that you weren't necessarily prepared to confront in the beginning. I really hope that all of this helped you. This is basically what the article entails. I really encourage y'all to go and read that. Cocodreamsawake.com. If y'all go to the Writing Your Legacy tab, this is where all of the posts are for writing your legacy, which is really just, you know, principles and lessons to learn on the path of chasing your dreams. So again, hope y'all like this. This really changed my life whenever I heard it. I hope that I was able to deliver it in the same way it was delivered to me. The last thing I'll say is that there is a special announcement in this video, and I left it at the end. I put it in the article saying that there's only the announcement in the video, so I hope y'all got here just so you could see what the announcement is. But in honor of the ritual of Sarah Blakely's family and that genius idea to celebrate your failures, I want to, on DreamAwake, do the same thing. So if you are out there and you're reading this, or you're one of my followers, or you appreciate the movement, whatever it is, and you are out chasing your dreams or going after something that might seem unlikely, I encourage you to send me your failures. Even if they don't have to do with your dreams. Say you talked to your crush and it didn't work out, then please, everyone, send me your failures. And every week I'm gonna do Fuck It Up Fridays, and I'm gonna tell y'all what I failed at every week. Sarah Blakely talks about this in the video, but she even says at Spanx, she likes to encourage everybody to fail, and she's constantly having meetings in front of all of her staff talking about her oops of the week, and she'll, you know, lay it all bare in front of everybody and let people know when she's embarrassed herself, and let people know whenever she's failed, so that people can see, you know, it's just a necessary step on the path to greatness, right? So I really want to, you know, hold myself accountable and let you guys know everything that I'm failing at currently. Plenty, there's always plenty to report. And I'm gonna go ahead and post that every week. It could be something funny, like I saw a hot guy at the store and tripped and fell on my face. That sounds like something I'd do. Or, you know, or I tried to post something and I got no likes on it whatsoever. Who knows? Who knows what failures I'm gonna encounter in the future. But every week on Fridays, I'm gonna go ahead and post that. And if y'all feel like it, go ahead and send me on all of my social medias. Most of y'all know you can find me at Cocodreamsawake on Facebook, on Instagram, on Pinterest, on all these different avenues. You can also send in a message on the website, cocodreamsawake.com. Of course, I'll leave all the links everywhere depending on where you're seeing this, but it'll be available. Just go ahead and send me whatever you fail at, and I want to applaud you and congratulate you and tell you that it's just a necessary step on the path to greatness. So here we are, all trying this life thing together, and I hope you guys are on board. I can't wait to hear about all your failures. I'm sure they'll be funny, so I can't wait. Y'all have a good day. Always stay dreamy.